In the frozen forests of Finland, during one of the most brutal winters in modern memory, a man known only by the Soviets as Deadliest, the White Death, hunted in silence. There were no warnings, no flashes of light, just a single shot and then nothing. Soviet soldiers, already shivering in -40 degrees, whispered about him like a ghost story come to life. But this was no myth. This was Simo Häyhä, the most lethal sniper the world has ever known. In just under 100 days of the Winter War, he took out over 500 enemy combatants, and he did it without a scope. This is the story of a farmer-turned-marksman who defended his homeland with a bolt-action rifle, iron sights, and deadly precision. But Häyhä wasn't just good with a gun. He was a symbol of Finland's fierce resistance against overwhelming odds. Simo Häyhä was born on December 17, 1905, in the rural town of Rajärvi, not far from the Russian border. Like many Finns of the time, he lived a simple life rooted in farming, forestry, and hunting. He wasn't raised for war, but he was raised to survive. From a young age, Simo honed his skills in the deep woods of Karelia, tracking deer and wolves with quiet patience and unshakable focus. At age 20, Häyhä completed his mandatory year of military service in 1925. Rather than move on entirely, he joined the Finnish Civil Guard, similar to a national militia. There, he gained a reputation for his incredible marksmanship, winning several regional shooting competitions. Häyhä wasn't loud or brash. He was quiet, methodical, and obsessed with precision. For over a decade, he practiced with the same bolt-action M/28-30 rifle he would later use in war, mastering its feel and every subtle nuance. These years in the forest weren't just preparation for hunting game. They were unknowingly preparing him for one of the most lopsided battles in modern warfare. In November 1939, after failed negotiations, the Soviet Union invaded Finland with nearly 500,000 troops. Stalin expected a quick victory over what he saw as a minor border skirmish. What he didn't count on was the sheer grit of the Finnish resistance, or the bone-cracking cold that dropped to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Finland, with a tenth of the Soviet manpower, had little chance of winning in conventional terms. But they had home advantage, snow-white camouflage, and one man who would become a nightmare for the Red Army. Simo Häyhä was stationed at the Kala front, where just 32 Finnish soldiers were tasked with holding off an advancing force of 4,000 Soviets. The odds were obscene, yet for 3 months, the Finnish line held. And much of that credit goes to the sniper hiding in snowbanks, mouth full of ice to hide his breath, rifle frozen into place to prevent muzzle steam. Häyhä didn't use a scope. He believed it could glint in the sunlight, giving away his position. Instead, he relied solely on iron sights and an unmatched ability to detect movement before being seen. Between December 1939 and March 1940, Simo Häyhä racked up a confirmed 505 sniper kills, according to Finnish military records. Some estimates push his total tally, including submachine gun kills, to over 800. That's more than 5 confirmed kills per day, every day, for 3 straight months. On one day alone, he notched 40 kills. Häyhä was a tactical purist. He dressed entirely in white to blend with the snow, concealed his position using snowbanks, and froze the snow around his barrel to avoid detection. He fired from a sitting position rather than prone, because it gave him better visibility even though it exposed more of his body. He didn't go for flashy headshots like a video game sniper. He aimed for center mass. Reliable, lethal, efficient. It was this terrifying consistency that earned him the nickname Deadliest from his Soviet enemies. His Finnish comrades called him Taiki-Ampuja, the magic shooter. Eventually, the Soviet high command had enough. They launched artillery strikes on his suspected locations and sent teams of elite counter-snipers specifically to kill Häyhä. None succeeded. His skill was too precise, his camouflage too perfect. But on March 6, 1940, a Soviet sniper finally got lucky. An explosive round struck Häyhä in the jaw, tearing away part of his face. He was found unconscious, with what witnesses described as half his head missing. He was rushed to a field hospital where, miraculously, he survived. He awoke from a coma on March 13th, the day peace was declared, and the Winter War officially ended. Despite his grievous wounds, Häyhä recovered. Reconstructive surgery rebuilt part of his face, but he bore the scars for life. He had taken over 500 men out of the war and lived to see its end. After the war, Simo Häyhä didn't seek fame. He never bragged about his record or tried to capitalize on his reputation. He quietly retired to a life of farming and hunting, later receiving a farm from the Finnish government as a reward for his service. By the 1960s, Häyhä was breeding dogs and winning hunting competitions again. He was awarded multiple medals, including the prestigious Medal of Liberty. In interviews, when asked how he became such a skilled marksman, Häyhä humbly replied, "Practice." He remained out of the public eye for decades, living simply in the Finnish countryside. But to soldiers, historians, and snipers around the world, his name became legend. A man who, with no formal sniper training, redefined what one individual could achieve in war. Simo Häyhä passed away in 2002 at the age of 96. Today, Simo Häyhä stands as a symbol of quiet resilience and deadly precision. In a war where Finland was expected to fold in days, he stood his ground and turned the tide with nothing but his rifle, his instincts, and his will. His legacy isn't just about the staggering number of kills. It's about his discipline, his humility, and his relentless dedication to protecting his homeland. In an age of high-tech warfare, his story reminds us that sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't a machine. It's a man with patience, a steady hand, and a reason to fight. Simo Häyhä never called himself a hero, but history did, and history will remember. If this story gave you chills, drop a comment below. What would you have done if you were on that frozen battlefield? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold legends from history's darkest hours.